Hi, welcome to GTS Distributions Come and Play Day here in Seattle. My name is Rodney Smith from Watch It Played, and I'd like to invite you to join me as we take a look at one of the many games being featured here at this event. So let's go into the Watch It Played room and see what's on the table next. All right, everyone. Well, now I've been joined by John Rogers of Arcane Wonders. And I would ask you what you've brought today, but it's kind of obvious.
There's a big box.
It is kind of
Mage Wars.
I'm going to move this. Is that okay if I remove this?
Oh, yeah, I
Okay.
suppose.
It is Mage Wars.
Now they'll not know.
Well, tell me a little bit about, listen, the theme of this game I think kind of comes across a bit in the name of it. But what's the idea? What's the setting here?
The idea is you are a mage, you put together your own spells, you've gone through all this training, and you're going to the arena to battle other mages.
Okay, we've done the same thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Card-based strategy and tactics game.
Yeah, and there's tokens, there's lots of bits, and we don't have all of it laid out here.
Right.
But we got enough to show things.
Enough to give kind of a quick turn and see how it goes, but there's a lot more to the game.
Yes, hence the big box. So how many players play? Is this a two-player game?
The main box is 2-player.
Yeah.
We do actually include in the rules a 4-player version, but at the moment it takes 2 box sets to do so, because you're actually going to want, this is a big board already.
Yeah.
To go 4-player, we recommend another board beyond this one.
Okay. Well, I could get you to talk to me more about the game, but what I really appreciate is you've set up a turn for us to go through.
I have.
So we can see it in action.
Awesome.
Excellent. Okay, well, show me. How do things start on a turn? What happens first?
Just so it's clear,
Yes.
these normally don't stay on the board, but for the case of the camera,
Right.
we are starting with those on the board.
And each player gets their own
Yes.
board here, right? Okay.
So what we have here, real quick, is the player is going to choose a mage.
Yes.
And then this is all going to happen before. They're going to grab a spell book and they're going to populate the spell book with cards of their choice that are provided in the base game. I need to be clear, this is not a collectible game.
So when you buy the game, you know exactly what's coming with the set. But as you buy additional cards, or even what's within the base game, you can change what you have in your own spell book.
Your
Customize
spell
it.
book will be very different than anybody else's.
Right.
So you've put that together, and now you're here to play the game.
Sure.
What we have over here is we have the channeling. This is how fast you generate mana for the game, which is required to pay for all the different spells.
Okay.
You have your supply, which is listed there. That's how much you've got for this turn to spend.
Okay.
And then you've got your life track over here, of course.
I'm assuming the objective is to reduce your opponent's life track to zero. Okay.
To get the red cube to meet the black cube.
Gotcha.
That'll make it work.
Okay.
So, in order to do that, everything has action markers. So once it's flipped, that creature is considered used for the round.
Okay.
The mage has a special extra action marker. This basically gives them an additional ability to cast an extra spell every round.
Okay,
So
right.
it's kind of what makes them so powerful. Because while the main markers can be affected by incapacitate and stun and things like that, the black marker can never be touched.
Always on. Always available.
on.
Okay.
So, all right. So to go through a turn, first we start with initiative. Now,
Yes.
normally, first you're going to roll a 12-sided die and determine it randomly. In this case, we're assuming we've already done that. The wizard had initiative, so during the initiative phase, it switches to the priestess.
Okay. Right.
Next, we have the reset. Any markers that were used up in the previous round get reset so that they're available.
Good to go for the next turn. Okay.
Then we channel. So we take whatever our channeling rate is and we add it to our mana supply. So he
Right,
goes
this was
from
sitting at
11 to
10,
21.
So it got 10 more. Okay.
Right. And she went from 5 to 15. The next thing that had happened would be upkeep. This is for things like the unicorn has a regenerate trait. So it could heal. There are tokens with burn on them that would cause fire damage to regenerate.
Okay.
After that, we go to the planning. So you're going to grab your spell book, and rather than randomly draw, you actually go through and pick.
Yeah, this is what's neat. So
Yes.
you have access to everything in the book.
Mm-hmm.
You've made it before the game, and now, okay, this is what I want for now. I can pull it out. Okay.
Yep, you pick 2 spells. Now, we've already gone and done that.
Yeah.
So, that's the planning stage. Now we go into the action stage.
All right.
And so what we're dealing with here is I have initiative. we have what's called a quick cast phase. This icon can be used anytime it's your turn.
Okay.
And our turns are going to pass back and forth between the different creatures. So I'm going to use that right now. I'm going to flip it. I'm going to grab a card. Now this is an enchantment card. It gets placed face down, and then later, as at any moment, I can pay the price and flip it up.
Even during my turn?
Even during your turn.
Okay.
So enchantments always get 2 paid when you flip down. So we'll drop that to 13. And now the unicorn has an enchantment.
Yeah.
Now you would have an option to use your quick cast if
Right.
you wanted to. So I believe you have a good spell there for that.
I do.
That one.
Yeah, so I can
And so
flip
you're
this
going to
over.
flip,
I'm going to pay 2, is that correct?
right?
Like so?
Yep.
Okay, and then I can slip this underneath as well.
Underneath the target.
This is interesting. So we've got little potential threats here that we can't, either of us can see. We don't know exactly what we're walking into
Exactly.
here, right? Okay.
You got it. So we're going into the actual creature activation.
Yes.
So what I'm going to do is activate the Highland Unicorn. It has an ability called Charge +2. And what that means is if it moves and then attacks, it gets an extra 2 dice on top of the 3 it normally has. But before I do that, I'm going to go ahead and spend my 3 to reveal a Bear Strength.
Okay.
This gives it an additional 2 dice. So right now it's a 5 dice attack. That I could do at any time,
Yes.
but I'm now activating him. So I'm going to move.
Boosting his strength as we. I think
yes.
you're going to get a little aggressive here. I can see.
I think we're going to attack.
Okay.
So I charge over,
Yeah.
and now because I moved and now I'm attacking, I get an additional 2 dice. So
Yeah,
we
yeah.
have the 3 that the unicorn starts with.
Right.
We have 2 for Bear Strength,
Yeah.
and we have 2
For charge.
for Charge.
I see. I see how this is working. Yeah,
There we
okay.
go.
Okay.
So we roll these.
I feel like you kind of stacked this against me here a little bit.
Well,
Oh, there we
you'd
go.
say that, and then I roll this.
Okay.
So this is a terrible roll. Never
Yes.
roll like
no,
this.
No, it's terrible.
All right. We then look at the stats on the Stonegaze Basilisk. He
And this
has 10 health
Yes.
and 2 armor.
Right.
So now let's assume I rolled normal.
Sure.
You know,
Sure.
spread. You'll have some blank dice, which don't do anything, of course.
Yes.
You'll have dice with just a regular 1 or a 2 on them. Those are normal damage.
Okay.
Now, normal damage has to fight against armor. So we take our
Two.
armor value of 2
Okay,
and
takes
we
it
get rid
away.
of 2 points of damage.
Perfect.
This would be critical damage and would avoid armor completely and just go straight through.
Okay.
So in this case, though, that's what it was.
Right.
I am awesome.
Yes.
And
Time to go back to mage school.
yes, I will totally go back.
Okay.
So we put 2 points of damage on the Stonegaze Basilisk.
Right.
Impressive, I know.
Yeah.
Okay, so that was my action. Now we go to your first action. So at this point, I'm going to recommend
Yes.
that we attack with the Stonegaze Basilisk.
Retribution. Sounds good.
Yep.
So I'm going to flip this, right, to show that I'm
Correct.
attacking? Okay. Now what?
So now you have 2 types of attacks here, but we're going to focus on this top one.
Okay.
It's a ranged attack, but you can do it at somebody who's in your face.
Okay.
So it's 2 dice
Yes.
plus what's called an effect die. If you roll a 7 or better for this guy, if you roll a 7 or better, you cripple your opponent.
Okay. I like the sound of that.
So,
So shall I go for it?
yes, let's see what you
Let's
get.
see that 7. Come on.
So
We went to the same mage school.
these are defective dice. You want to buy the right dice for your copy of Mage Wars.
Goodness.
So, oh look, Magic Mate's
hey,
a 9.
wonderful.
Congratulations.
Right, thank you.
Good
We'll
job.
correct that
Good
in
job. Okay. So at that point,
Yes.
you get
Oh, wait. So my cripple effect is now, it's been activated.
It's
Because of my
activated.
fantastic die rolling.
So-
Okay.
restrained. After the creature acts again, I roll a d12, and if I get a 7 or better, I get to remove it. But for now, restrained means I'm stuck in that square. So all the
Okay.
power I get from charging around with my unicorn
Right.
goes away.
Okay.
In addition to that, you did 2
I
points
did
of
roll a
damage.
2. Yeah.
And we look at the unicorn,
Yes.
and he's got 2 points
2.
of armor. Hey!
So, yeah. You
I'm
stopped me
okay
in my
with
tracks,
this.
but I'm still pretty healthy.
There we go.
Like
there
so.
we go. So, now it comes back to me.
Yes.
And I am going to move, and then I'm going to cast a spell, which we like to refer to as Sleep. It costs me 6 mana,
Yes.
we'll just read it off the card.
Sure.
The target falls asleep. You place a sleep condition marker on it. So in the case of your level 3 creature, it takes 6 mana.
Okay.
So this goes into my discard effectively. It's a one-shot spell.
Right.
And then your Basilisk is now incapacitated. We replace with daze when damaged. So to wake him up,
Yes.
you have to smack him. So hey, guess what I'm
Very
not going to
thematic.
do?
Yeah.
So, but at that point, there we go.
Okay.
So now we're up to your
Right.
wizard's full turn.
I do have another card here.
You do indeed.
Okay, so I think I'm getting the hang of this. I can flip this over here, and now I can play
Right.
the card, right? And I've got Lightning Bolt here.
Okay.
So walk me through how this guy works.
So this is an attack spell. It costs 8 mana.
Yes.
Has a range of 0 to 2. So you're going to pay your
Right.
8 mana.
Okay, let's see if I can do my math upside down here. That should
There
be
we go.
to 11?
Yep.
Okay, good.
All right. So now it's a ranged attack based on lightning and 5 dice.
Okay.
So it would be good if you would select a target.
Yes. Well, I think I will target our creature here.
But you could wake up the Stone Gaze.
Oh, I see.
I mean, it's only, you could only possibly kill it with all those
But
dice.
I don't know if
but-
that's... I feel like you're steering me
is
in
this
the...
bad advice?
I think
Yes,
you're giving me
yes,
bad
that's what
advice.
this is. All right, so it would be excellent to go after.
Okay, so my
the
first
unicorn.
instinct was okay. All right,
Yes.
good.
Now-
And I get to roll the yellow die too.
You
It's
get an effect
here.
die. Now, in the case of like where this guy, he was able to cripple. On this die, it will either daze or stun your opponent.
Okay, if I roll high enough.
So now you could.
Yes.
The game ends when you drop the other mage. So you could, because you're in range, so 0, 1, 2.
Oh.
You could just bypass the strength
Well, I feel like it's a closing move.
unicorn.
I
There
could
we
at least take a little knock at your... Yeah, I'm going to do that.
we
Can I
go.
go after mage then? Okay,
Absolutely.
so I'm going to roll these up. Let's see. I see a 7. Oh, and I see some critical hits.
Oh, nice.
Okay, so if I'm understanding this correctly, these two can't be blocked, even by the
Right.
mage?
Right.
Okay, and this is going to be possibly blocked.
And then if I had armor on her,
Right?
totally I could possibly ignore those numbers.
But there's
in
no
this
armor
case,
there.
I don't. So I take the red marker and move it up to the 5 points you've done here.
Yes.
But now you also did a daze.
I rolled a 7.
So
Okay.
we grab the daze token right there.
Yes.
And the daze token says attacks roll 7 plus or fail. So if I go to attack with her, I have to roll a d12 and get 7 or better, or else the attack fails.
Okay.
-2 on defenses, so if I try to dodge an attack, I get -2 to that, but then I remove it after I act. So she's already acted this round,
Yes.
so
This is going
that
to stick
means
around for a little bit.
it'll go into the next turn.
Okay.
And then at this point, we've all activated out. This goes to the discard, and time for the next turn.
I get it.
There we go.
I mean, I know this is just a small piece of the puzzle because there are lots of different effects, there's lots of different cards.
Absolutely.
But that's an entire turn.
There it is.
Okay. And I feel like I did all right.
I think you
okay?
did good.
Yeah.
I think you're well set, except for your sleeping basilisk.
Well,
But-
and we kind of stalled ourselves here, didn't we, a little bit?
But
That's
my
neat.
immobile unicorn isn't really going to go charging
Yeah,
into you
not a
next
threat
turn,
so
which
much.
is good.
Okay, so now there's the base game. You guys have already started releasing expansions, right? So
we have 2 fresh expansions, and then we have supplemental materials for the game, things to help you get more out of the base box set. So our 2 expansions that are out, in February we had Force Master versus Warlord. So there are 4 mages in the base set.
Okay.
You have the Priestess, you have the Wizard,
Right.
there's a Warlock, and there's a Beastmaster. Each
Okay.
of them has very different feel and flavor. The Force Master Warlord set adds a Force Master who uses her mind to dominate the enemies, throw rocks, all sorts of good stuff.
Yeah, sounds cool.
The Warlord actually works on board control. The more board he takes over, the faster he generates soldiers,
More powerful and
and the quicker
Neat.
he goes. So he's very much if you let him take control of a board, he will run it all day long.
Okay.
So that was our expansion in February, and
Yes.
it came with all the cards necessary to build the 2 full decks, and then both fresh spell books like these, but with their own designs.
Right, because these books come with the game.
2 books come with the game.
Yes.
A brown one and a red one.
Yeah.
Tentatively for the Wizard and the Warlock.
Sure.
And then The green and the white for the Priestess and the Beastmaster, those come in an additional pack that can be purchased for $15.99.
Excellent.
But then there are 2 books that come with the Force Master Warlord.
Okay.
So that came out in February. Then our next expansion is coming out actually this week.
Oh.
It'll be publicly available for retailers and everything.
And right now it's July, so
right,
yeah,
first week of July.
Excellent.
Effectively.
Okay.
And that's called the Conquest of Kumanjaro. Yeah.
And can you mix cards like when you're building your spell book?
Mm-hmm.
How do you like? Is there a little bit of customization that goes in terms of what you can mix and match inside of the spell book, or
how a spell book works is we didn't really show it here, but every mage has a card that has all their stats.
Yes.
So the very first stat is the most important. It's the size of your spell book.
Okay.
So this says 120 points. You then check her training, which is in light, which is what that symbol means. So trained in the Holy School. Dark spells cost triple during spellbook creation.
Yes.
So it means that she really likes the holy spells. She really doesn't like the dark spells.
Yes.
Well, if we were to look and grab a couple of spells out of this, in the upper right-hand corner, it shows what school, so this is a holy spell, and what level, so 2.
2, right.
So for her to include this in her book costs her 2 points. No problem. Very simple. However, when we put armor on her, or added that to her spell book, this is an elemental air school for 1 point. So in this case, she pays double because she's not directly trained in it.
Got it. Okay. So you can bring other cards in, but it's at a cost.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But you can adjust if you think it's going to be valuable to your strategy.
You could load her down with demons at triple cost.
Right. Okay.
It would be a very small spell book.
Yes. Yes. Well, that's it. Listen, I'm curious. If someone wants to find out more about Mage Wars, what's the best place they can go to find you?
MageWars.com.
Okay.
We have training videos for every stage of the game.
Excellent. Okay.
And then the forums are very active for us.
Okay.
So lots of advice can be found there.
Super. Well, listen, I really appreciate taking all this time to show us a really, really good overview of the game. Yeah, thank you so much, John.
Thank you very much.
Okay, and we'll see you guys real soon.